When people usually talk about assistants, the Devil Wears Prada almost always pops up, and it's usually associated with something negative. And I get it, it's entertaining, it's dramatic, and it gives people a glimpse into what the role can really look like. But even more interesting is actually how people take it as face value and without really understanding what the role really is and how accurate it is and how dramatic it can be. So I want to break down a little what I see as a perspective of someone who actually works in these kind of environments. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Jessica. I'm an executive personal assistant, lifestyle lover, and business owner. Here we talk about all things PA life, career glow ups, hot topics, and actually living a life you enjoy. So if that sounds like your thing, your vibe, stick around. Okay, so let's start what it does get right. Because there are different moments that feel very real. The pace is accurate. When you're supposed to be supporting someone at a high level, things can move very quickly. Priorities shift, and you're expected to keep up without needing constant direction. You hear constantly, at least I do, just figure it out, and you literally just have to figure it out. The expectations are also very real as well. You're not always told exactly what to do, you're expected to figure them out. And that can be overwhelming if you're not used to thinking in that way. Oh, and then there's the pressure. Not necessarily in a dramatic way how the movie shows it, but more in a subtle, consistent way. It's the pressure of knowing that the small details matter, and the small details always matter no matter how big or small the person you are supporting. And that is directly how it will impact how someone else's time and decisions are being implemented into your role. But this is where the movie starts to shift a little. One thing I think the Devil Wears Prada does really well is make the role look intense, but it also quietly glamorizes it. It presents this idea that proximity to power, fashion, and high-level environments automatically equals success or prestige. And the reality is that's not always the case. Being in those environments doesn't automatically mean you're being valued, developed, or even respected. Sometimes the role can feel very transactional. Sometimes it can feel like you're constantly giving without clarity on what you're gaining. And I think that's the part people don't talk about enough. Because this raises a bigger question. What does the role actually look like when you remove all of the dramatization? Okay, and I'm gonna hold a lot of hands when I say this, but what the role actually looks like or can consist of consistently is managing priorities in real time, reading people and situations quickly. I know a lot of people say like I can't be a mind reader, but sometimes sadly you have to. And if you want more tips on how to read the room and read people well so you can have those expectations met, just let me know. Another would be solving problems before they're even fully formed. Another would be balancing professionalism at all times. Even if something bugs you a little or you get a little flustered, you have to balance that professionalism. Of course, be yourself. You want to show your personality, but there's a time and a place. And also wearing comfortable clothes. I do believe there is a glamour, like the role can be glamorized. And yes, sometimes you will have fabulous times to to dress up, but I believe one thing that the movie does get wrong is how fabulous everyone is 24/7, and that is not true. So wearing comfortable clothes is like a must, but more importantly, it's about thinking about if this role is truly for you long term. But that being said, the best assistants aren't just executing tasks, they're understanding how someone operates and they're adjusting accordingly. And this is where real value comes in the role. If you look past the dynamics, there are actually a lot of lessons in the movie. First, adaptability. Being able to step into an environment and figure things out quickly is a skill. Second, awareness. Understanding people, expectation, and unspoken dynamics will take you further than just being organized. Third, boundaries. And this is something the movie doesn't fully address. Just because something is expected doesn't mean it should go unquestioned. And this is why I think the conversation is becoming more relevant now. With The Devil Wears Prada 2 expected to hit theaters soon, it's going to be interesting to see how the role is portrayed now, especially with the workplace and how it's been evolving and how people are talking about boundaries more, work culture, and what a supportive role should actually look like. So the question is, I'm really interested to know, will it still lean into the same dynamics, or will it reflect a more modern version of the role? At the end of the day, being an assistant isn't about just fetching coffee or blindly following orders. It's about awareness, adaptability, and understanding people at a high level. And once you start looking at it in that way, the role becomes more strategic and it begins to put you at a different level than people realize. So now I'm curious, with The Devil Wears Prada, when that comes out, or when you think about the previous movie, do you see it as being realistic, or do you see it more of a dramatized or dramatic version of what people see in this role, and do they think that's what it actually looks like? Now, I hope you enjoyed this chit chat. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, or share button. Your engagement is really appreciated as we grow together. Help your girl out. And until next time, and thanks for hanging out for this combo. It was actually fun. And until next time.